Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with a police officer enters a cafeteria. The officer was on his usual routine of patrolling and stopped to get a warm coffee because it is raining outside. He goes into a diner to get a coffee but is met with hostility from the servers and other patrons. On the TV there's a news report going on about riots in the city. They did not like his presence there as they saw the protest against a police and mismanagement in the city. Even the old server Pops does not take his cash, saying that he is not welcome there that day. In the next scene, the officer goes on his way. After some time on the road, he sees a suspected van and turns on the siren to stop him as well as tell the situation to the control room. He has his dashcam and bodycam on as he approaches a stopped vehicle on the road. He orders the woman to come out when he sees a bloody handkerchief in the shade. In the next instant, when she comes out, the officer is heard yelling and then being thrown upwards. In the next scene, the movie goes 12 hours back when a woman police officer, Renee Lamito, is sitting in the police sergeant's office. She is there because she was suspended for a couple of months when she lost her son and then lashed out at a criminal who had instigated her with racial slurs. The sergeant asks her if she had moved on from her son's death, then she can come back to the service. Eventually, she returns to active duty on nights again because the sergeant has a soft corner for her. However, he tells her that the watch commander will pair her. She goes to the briefing room, where she's paired with a rookie cop Danny. Everyone is happy to have her back, but Renee isn't too pleased with having Danny as her partner. After some time, when they start their patrolling in the streets, they find a kid sitting and playing on the street alone. She turns on her bodycam before approaching him and is instantly subjected to harassment from the neighbors who don't have a good opinion about cops at that moment. Renee calms them down, saying that they were just trying to make sure the kid is alright because he was alone in the street. Renee goes back to the car with Danny, lauding her ability to placate a hostile crowd. Renee seems to understand why everyone is hostile. After that, they drive further on and stop in the middle of nowhere to investigate a strange occurrence. They inspect the police car, and Renee gets back in her car and turns on her laptop and attaches his dash cam to see what has happened to the car and the officer. The laptop shows her a recording of what happened to the officer we met in the first scene, Kevin. He was also a dear friend to Renee. She gets shocked to see this green van with no number plates. She sees the woman coming out of the van and then the officer being flung upward and then down on the hood of the car. The video then disappears. Meanwhile, Danny comes back as Renee seems troubled by what she saw. They check their surroundings. They get shocked when they find Kevin's bloodied body. More cops are called, and when Sergeant Kesper arrives, she briefs him that there was a green Chevy van with no number plates that Kevin stopped. When he asks her how she knows all this, she says she saw the footage of his dash cam. Now he tells her that the officer's dash cam and body cam were fried, and there was no recording on them, even as Renee maintains she saw the woman who did this. No one believes her, including the IT team. The next moment, Renee goes home, where her husband asks her why she is back so early. She tells him about Kevin and says something terrible happened to him today, and she has to find out why. She goes to sleep and dreams about her son drowning. She also has flashes of the dash cam recording and finds out that that woman has a cross sign on her scrubs. She wakes up and decides to watch videos of her son. He was born in a hospital with the same icon she remembers seeing on the green parka wearing woman who allegedly killed her colleague. She investigates further, takes Danny with her, and goes to her house. Lamito finds out that the woman is a nurse at the hospital and recently lost her son. They search his house but feel some supernatural incidents like the attack of the flying cockroaches and the sudden appearance of a manly body in front of Renee. This frightens them and they come out. After some time, the same green van appeared at a food store. The woman goes inside and starts putting things in a mysterious way. The cashier suspects her but lets her do the shopping. Meanwhile, two bystanders get inside and start recording the video and fooling around with the cashier and the woman. At the same time, two police officers notice this van and pull over to surround the vehicle. They alert the control room and get inside. They see the woman in the green hooded parka is there too. They hold their guns at them and ask them to show their possessions. One of them opens the fire. And soon, a strange shadow appears and starts killing everyone, including the cops. The next moment, Renee receives a message and heads out to the store. Renee and Danny reach there and search the van. After that, they go inside the store and find everyone dead. She goes to check the security cameras and sees what really happened only for the video to disappear when Danny comes to see it. An official of the team reaches them and asks her if she saw something. She tells her that the van is the property of a church and reported missing for many months. She also tells them that it was these guys who had stolen the van and killed Kevin. Renee tells Danny that these are not the killers of Kevin, and she knows no one believes her, so steals one of the criminal's phones as he was recording the robbery. Danny is against her hiding evidence, but she doesn't care. She needs to know what is going on. He tells her that she has an obsession of a kind as she is a mother who lost her child and wants to know other women who lost their children. He asks her to let it go and leave the matter with the dead guys. She ignores him and leaves. The next day she heads to the mortuary and, using her connections, goes to see the dead bodies. The phone apparently opens with a fingerprint. She asks him to show her the bodies. He tells her that he gets the scalps coming in all kinds of conditions. But he has never had anything come in looking like this. She asks him to give her some moments alone with the corpse. She unlocks the phone, gets inside, and finds the video, but can't make sense of what is going on. But she gets a short clip of the shadow when she watches it on the TV screen. And this also vanishes in no time, causing a bit of shock for her again. She does more research on the nurse and decides to go find her. The next day she goes to the office and talks about that woman to another officer, Penda. She asks him about one of his past cases. He tells her about the case of a kid named DeMarco Brands, the son of nurse Tanisha Brands. He says that the case has nothing in it and he got nothing much. At home, she has trouble sleeping, and her husband says that she must have to find out what this really is. The next day, curious Renee goes to his office, picks up the address of the church of the owner of the van and reaches there. She asks the priest if he told their officers that the green van disappeared off his church's property and that it was not stolen. She tells him that she knows that it is a lie. And he lent it to Tanisha. She warns him that if you impede an investigation, that's obstruction of justice. He takes her back to speak properly. He takes her to Mirko's room and tells her that he couldn't hear. He was on community service when he got killed by senseless violence. She takes her address and leaves. When he reaches her dilapidated house, Renee finds pictures of her and the cops. She also finds the dead boy's picture with squiggly black lines drawn over him like flames. Renee is almost attacked by a shadowy figure but escapes just in time. Renee calls up Danny for help in finding the nurse and discussing new clues, and he promises to be there within an hour to help. When he doesn't turn up, Renee goes to his house and finds him dead in the shower. He has committed suicide and left behind a USB for Renee. Danny was afraid that Renee was close to the truth of what he too was involved in. She watches it and now understands what happened. All the cops who have died so far were involved in killing the nurse's son, who was mistakenly killed when he didn't respond to orders from the police. Turns out, the boy was deaf and was just doing some community service. The cops kill him mercilessly, rather than admitting that they made a mistake. They all cooperate with themselves to kill the innocent deaf kid. She cries as she watches the whole body cam video. After some time, she collects herself and goes from there. Renee calls Sergeant Kiesler to meet her and discuss the new clue she found. She tells him that Danny Hollage is dead. He was holding the evidence. She speaks about her whereabouts and asks him to show up there. The next moment, she reaches Tanisha Brands' house and shouts her name. She says that she knows what happened to her son. After some time, Sergeant Kiesler appears and asks her what evidence she has. She tells him that she has the body cam footage of the number 8 of the murder. She makes him realize that this is the core issue that started the riots in the city. Unfortunately, he brings along the corrupt officials involved in the killing of the boy. Renee understands that he too is involved, and it is confirmed when he holds her at gunpoint. After that, he takes her into the warehouse and tells her that he wants to get rid of the footage. He blackmails her, saying that letting the public see that video would do nothing but weaken her department more. Penda asks her where Danny is, who kept the copy of the video. She says he is dead and she has the video. He shoots at her instantly. Fortunately for her, the nurse appeared with the strange shadowy creature. And it frightens them all. Kesper pouches her face, but the same shadow appears again and kills Kesper. Tanisha reveals to her that shadow is DeMarco, and she cannot control him, so she must leave the place. Penda runs for his life but gets captured eventually. Renee sees that creature this time straight. The movie ends when some emergency staff come to the warehouse and take Kesper to the hospital. In the end, a narration tells that Kesper was involved in the corruption in the department and for the crime and the conspiracy in the murder of the kid DeMarco. The end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos update. Like, share and turn on notification to help the channel.